The latest news has shocked the world of gospel music. David Phelps, the legendary tenor of the Gaither vocal band, found himself at the center of a devastating and shocking tragedy that no one expected to see. Just a few minutes ago, messages appeared that plunged fans, fellow artists, and the Christian community into complete disbelief. The story, which once seemed common in the life of this beloved artist, quickly turned into one of the most heartbreaking and mysterious deaths of the year. The details are still being clarified, but one thing is clear. This loss will forever leave a mark on Phelps' life and legacy. The death that left fans speechless is just the beginning of a story that will change everything we thought we knew about this beloved artist. Stay tuned, and we will tell you about the details that led to this introduction. David Phelps, a name synonymous with powerful gospel music, is more than just an incredible tenor. He's a man whose life has been marked by passion, dedication, and at times, profound personal sorrow. Many know him for his captivating voice and his time with the Gaither vocal band, where his talent gained international recognition. Yet, behind the admiration, the fame, and the applause, there is a deeper story. A story of the emotional toll of a demanding career, the sacrifices made, and the challenges that not even the strongest voice can escape. David's life has been one of highs and lows, marked not only by career triumphs, but also by struggles that shook him to his core. His journey, both personal and professional, is one of resilience, fueled by a deep love for his family, his faith, and his music. This is not just a tale about success in the spotlight, but about a man learning what truly matters when the world fades into the background and all that's left are the people who have always stood by him. Born on October 21, 1969, in Houston, Texas, David Norris Phelps was raised in a family that cherished both music and education. His father, Gene, was a business educator, and his mother, Mary Ella, was an English teacher. Growing up in such a nurturing environment, David was encouraged to develop his creativity from a young age, and music became his first true love. His childhood was filled with performances in local church choirs and school events, where he began honing his vocal skills. It was clear from the start that David had a gift for music, a gift that would eventually lead him to the world stage. But music wasn't just a pastime. It was a way for him to connect to something greater than himself, a theme that would persist throughout his life and career. But I was born into a singing family, a musical family. I'm the youngest, and so they were making music when I got there, and I just joined in, and it was a lot centered around faith and church, and my grandpa was a preacher for 50 years, and so of course all the opportunities just started happening in church. And as soon as they figure out you can make music, they're like, come on, let's do it every Sunday, Everybody's doing it, yeah. And so and even at home it was something that drew us together. Mom played the piano and had a great voice, and we would just sing together. We'd be driving down the road on AAC or whatever, the radio would go off, and we would all grab a part and just start singing in the car. It's just crazy to think about that. I thought everybody did it, but nobody really does. David's passion for music was matched by his commitment to education. After high school, he attended Baylor University in Waco, Texas, where he earned a degree in music and vocal performance. It was there that he met his future wife, Lori Pearl, a woman who shared his values of faith, family, and dedication. They quickly bonded over their common beliefs, and this connection would become the foundation for their life together. Their marriage would prove to be a vital source of support as David embarked on his musical career, and later as they faced the challenges of raising a family while navigating the pressures of his increasingly demanding career. David's big break came in 1997 when he joined the prestigious Gaither vocal band, a group that would propel him into national and international stardom. Under the mentorship of gospel music legend Bill Gaither, David's voice became a key part of the band's sound, and he quickly earned recognition for his impressive vocal range and emotional depth. His time with the Gaither vocal band, spanning from 1997 to 2005 and again from 2009 to 2017, was marked by numerous accolades, including Grammy and Dove Awards. His powerful performances, featured in iconic songs like It Is Well With My Soul, O Holy Night, and Nessun Dorma, demonstrated his versatility and cemented his reputation as one of gospel music's greatest singers. During this period, David's life as a professional musician was filled with accolades and recognition, but this success also came with its challenges. The demands of constant travel, long hours of rehearsal, and the pressures of maintaining a public persona began to take their toll, not just on David's health, but also on his family life. The intense schedule of touring and recording meant long periods of time spent away from his wife, Lori, and their growing family. We listened to all different types of music, and found that I think it's helped me over the years find the beauty and not be put off by just a specific style before I've heard the song, because you can hear if there are people who don't like country music, but if they come across a song, if they're open to it, they're like, wow, that's really great, and And so we just listened to all different types my parents listened to. My parents had season tickets to the opera, but you know when. Dolly Parton was in town. We were there to watch her. And at the Houston Livestock Show in Rodeo, I remember seeing Larry Gatlin and the Gatlin brothers there. And Mom and Dad had an 8-track player, which is the worst format of any media. That could have been. I don't know if you remember the 8-track. It would stop in the middle of a song to switch sides, right on its own, and it would just fade out. That was just part of it. It's just ridiculous. But the strain of success balancing career and family life. As David's career flourished, the distance between him and his family began to grow. While Lori remained supportive of David's ambitions, she found herself often alone, balancing the demands of raising their children while supporting her husband from afar. For David, the intense schedule of tours and recordings meant time away from his family, which began to strain the emotional bonds they had worked so hard to build. Though Lori understood the sacrifices David made for his career, there were times when the emotional toll became apparent. She missed the intimacy and closeness that David's constant absence had begun to overshadow. Their struggles were not just about the physical distance, but also the emotional distance that developed over time. The pressures of raising a family, while both partners maintained careers in an industry that demanded so much energy and time, created moments of tension that both David and Lori struggled to navigate. David, in particular, found himself battling feelings of guilt. He questioned whether he was doing enough as a husband and father, and the emotional weight of this uncertainty began to weigh on him. Meanwhile, Lori silently carried the burden of keeping everything together at home, all while maintaining her own sense of purpose and identity outside of her role as the wife of a famous musician. I knew some of the things, how songs in any genre will kind of pop out and go bigger than the genre itself, and I knew some of those songs. I bowed on my knees and cried holy, and some of them. So joining Bill and Gloria after they started the homecoming stuff, was a real education for me. A huge education, because I had followed them, of course, back in the trio days. We had that 8-track, of the trio, Fully Alive. Oh yeah, it was great. But, we of course listened to all of that stuff, and I hadn't really followed a lot of the Southern gospel stuff that they had then ventured into. And, that time was a huge education for not only the amazing songs, many of which I do now, but also the artists that I'm the way for pop artists, and country artists that are doing what they do today. So, it was amazing to be able to tour with some of those icons. The turning point of voice in crisis. The turning point in David's life came when he faced a vocal injury that threatened his ability to continue singing. For a man whose voice was his livelihood, this injury was more than just a physical setback. It was a devastating blow to his sense of self-worth. The thought of losing his ability to sing, the thing that had defined him for so long, left David feeling uncertain of his future. The physical pain of the injury was immense, but the emotional anguish that came with it was far more profound. During this difficult period, Lori became David's rock. She offered unwavering support, reminding him of his worth beyond his career. Her constant encouragement and belief in him helped him work through the anxiety and fear that came with his uncertain future. Despite the challenges, Lori's faith remained strong, and she reminded David that their true value wasn't tied to his career or his voice, but to their faith, their love, and their commitment to each other. As David began his recovery, he realized that his life needed to change. The demanding nature of his career had forced him to overlook the needs of his family, and he knew that he needed to make adjustments if he was to preserve his health, his marriage, and his relationship with his children. He began to scale back on his commitments, recognizing that his family's well-being had to take precedence over his professional success. If you understand the music industry at all, it's built on people in that do what they do, and many do it very well. They have a job to do to get a certain song or certain artist out. It's difficult. Let's say it's easier when they can pinpoint exactly what to do with this artist, And so, of course, as I jumped into what I do, in my career, it was very tempting for a lot of people in that area to try to direct me into be the this of gospel music, be this of go, because they have to try to fit a box around what you're doing. While those shoes just did not fit. And then I didn't always fight against it. Sometimes I tried it on, and it just felt so uncomfortable after a while, At some point, I was just like, this is what I do. I don't know what else. I don't know how else to do it. And do it honestly and do it well. I'm a vocalist and a stylist. When I found that word, I was like, that's what I am. I'm a stylist, and they talk about Tony Bennett that way. And I'm not trying to put myself on the same thing as Tony Bennett. I love Tony Bennett. Rebuilding, finding balance between music and family. As David's voice healed and his confidence returned, he and Lori took a step back to evaluate what mattered most. The pressures of his career had taken a toll, but the experience also led them to make meaningful changes in their lives. They recognized that balance was key, not just in David's career, but in their personal lives as well. David began to prioritize his family more intentionally, making sure to carve out time for his children and for Lori. He realized that the constant pressure to perform and maintain a public image had left little room for the simple joys of family life. He was determined to change that. Lori, ever the supportive wife, cheered him on as he made these changes, proud of him for finding a way to honor both his family and his career. Their bond grew stronger as they learned to navigate the demands of David's career and their growing family with grace. David and Lori learned. They discovered that the key to success wasn't just in professional accomplishments, but in nurturing their relationship and staying present for their children. They found a rhythm that allowed them to be both successful in their individual careers and close as a family. They learned that no amount of fame or professional achievement could replace the importance of being there for each other and for their children. But, there are many artists that would go on that list of being a stylist that I quickly have found myself going, oh, I feel like that, I feel like that's more of who I am. And it's difficult sometimes for people in different genres to go, what do we do with this? Because this radio station here is set up to play country music, new country music. So what are we going to do with you since, you sang a country song, but you're not necessarily a country singer, so we play one of your songs, but we can't play all of them. So it is challenging on some aspects, but it is also freeing because what I do just feels as natural to me. It's who I am, and I'll sing Nan Dorma, and I'm then sing Go Rest High on That Mountain, and I maybe sing Until Then, or sing a more contemporary song. I'm like our new song called Trouble, that, it's just a blast sing every night, and it's a prayer. It's a take on a psalm basically, but it's said in a way that is different than the strength of faith overcoming life's challenges. Together, throughout all of their struggles, one thing remained constant: their shared faith. For David and Lori, faith wasn't just a belief, it was the foundation upon which they built their lives. Their unwavering commitment to each other and to their faith allowed them to navigate even the toughest times. As David's career continued, he found a renewed sense of purpose in his music, but he also found greater peace in his personal life. His faith, combined with Lori's unwavering support, provided him with the strength to move forward. David often speaks of Lori as the cornerstone of his life, the person who keeps him grounded and focused on what truly matters. In the years that followed, David and Lori continued to work together, raising their children while also building successful careers. They both remained committed to their faith, which guided them through the highs and lows of life. Their relationship became a testament to the power of love, faith, and the importance of prioritizing family. There's a lot of that are going on in my mind, a lot of musical things, as well, One of the things that's very important for what I do, is a level of empathy. And I'm constantly throughout a night, throughout an evening, I'm judging the response of the audience. How uncomfortable would that make them? And do we need to bring them back right now and then make them okay? Or can we push things a little bit more? Or, because I always feel like when this starts, you're going to some people in the audience are going to be like, but just stick with me because by the end of it, we're going to be best buds, That takes a level of discernment in what's happening live in the moment because not every place is going to respond. And touring is very interesting because so much affects it, not what's going on around in the world right now. Tragedies in the world right now are affecting what we do on a basis. On the temperature of the building makes such an amazing difference in the response of a crowd. David's legacy of life, defined by music and family. David Phelps' story is one of extraordinary talent, but it is also one of personal growth and resilience. From his early days in Texas to his rise as one of the most respected voices in gospel music, David's journey has been one of both triumph and struggle. His professional achievements are impressive, but it is his personal journey, marked by sacrifice, love, and faith, that truly defines him. As David continues to perform, record, and share his music with the world, he does so with a renewed sense of purpose. His career may have been built on his vocal talent, but it is his dedication to his faith and his family that truly fuels his work. Through it all, David has learned that even the greatest challenges can be overcome with love, faith, and the support of those closest to us. In the end, David Phelps' legacy is not just one of musical excellence, but of a man who remained true to his values even in the face of adversity. His story is a reminder that no matter how successful we become, the most important thing is always the people we love and the faith that sustains us. The culture of it that has been built by the venue, whether it's a AACA, whether it's an art performing arts center, or whether it's a church, the culture that's been built there within that makes a big difference on how that evening is going to go. And so many things make a difference. And that makes it even more challenging and more important to kind of be in the moment and try to be open enough to pivot. But you take every bit of that into consideration, and fans need to see that you take that into every consideration to make sure that when they walk away know they've experienced something. I hope so, and that comes across. I want to give, my goal is to enrich people's lives with art, hopefully, and of course, every night before we go out, we pray that the name of Jesus is lifted up in every song. MHM. And that doesn't have to just be a song that overly Southern gospel or a Christian them. It can be. David and Lori Phelps' journey is a testament to the highs and lows of a demanding career. They learned that success isn't defined by accolades or public recognition, but by the strength of their connection and the foundation they had built together. Their story is one of personal growth, of realizing that even the most remarkable careers are secondary to the people who love and support you unconditionally. David's career continued to thrive as he found new ways to connect with his audience, deep faith, and passion for music. However, the real transformation took place within his home and heart. As much as he loved performing and recording, the true purpose of his music became clear. It was a means to bring glory to God, uplift his family, and touch lives through the power of faith and authenticity. For David, the lessons learned through his struggles were invaluable. He came to understand that balance was the key to maintaining both personal happiness and professional